Bruh, I'm about to show you probably the coolest thing that God has ever revealed to me in the Bible. Check this out. So if you're not Christian, I don't want you completely lost. I'm going to give you a basic gist of it real quick. Basically, as a Christian, I believe that every single person has sinned against God. God has a moral standard that we cannot reach. And I don't care what you've done. I don't care what anyone else has done. We're all the same in God's eyes. The Bible says that we've all sinned. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. So don't let anyone try to tell you that your sin is better than your sin or whatever. That's a bunch of nonsense, right? The wages of sin is death. It doesn't say the wages of some sin is death. So as far as God is concerned, we are all deserving of death. However, he sent Jesus Christ to rescue us. Now, let me break this down a little bit more. This gets crazy. And sorry, I'm trying to talk really fast. I'm trying to cram all of this into one little video so you don't get bored by me sitting here saying 100 times. So anyways, Israel was God's chosen people, right? And they were taken into captivity by Egypt. They were slaves, and God was like, it's time to get these people free. They're my chosen people. Let them go. This is where it gets wild. So Moses goes up and he receives the law from God on stone tablets that was written by God on these stones. By the time he gets back down from the mountain, these people had already started worshiping a golden calf, right? They were tripping, doing a whole bunch of nonsense. And Moses was so mad that he broke the tablets. He literally smashed. So this is kind of where it plays part in when the Bible says that the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth come through Jesus Christ, right? So Moses, who represents the law, comes down the mountain. He sees these people have done one sin, right? Technically, it was the first sin that God told him not to do. Like the first commandment says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. These people are already worshiping a golden calf. So Moses smashes the 10 commandments, right? So just a little surface level deepness. Moses smashing those 10 commandments represents that if you've broken one commandment, you've broken them all, right? So we have all sinned. If you've lied, if you've cheated, if you've stolen, if you've committed adultery, if you've done any of this, you've broken all the law. So in Exodus 17, you have all of the Israelites out there in the desert, and they're so mad at Moses, right? Because he brought them out of Egypt, and now they're sitting there going, yo, we're thirsty. And they're getting ready to stone Moses because they're so mad. So Moses cries out to God, and he's like, God, what should I do for these people? They're so frustrated with me because they have no water. What do I do? So God hears Moses and he tells him, in Horeb, there will be a rock and I want you to smite it and water will come out. So basically smash the rock and water will come out and all the people will be able to drink. So fast forward to Numbers chapter 20, right? The same thing's going on. The Israelites are all pissed off at Moses again. Man, where's the water? Where's the water? We're thirsty. So God tells Moses, take this rod, go and speak to the rock and water will come out for the people. But Moses, out of his own pride, now he's a little ballsy, right? Because he'd already done some cool things in front of the people. So he goes out there and he's like, what should I do? Do I have to smash this rock and get water to come out? So he hits it twice and a whole bunch of water comes out. But God was upset with him because he didn't listen. He didn't speak to the rock. He used his own works to try to prove to these people, look what I can do for you. This is crazy. Now, remember, Moses represents the law, right? The law struck the rock and brought forth water. So God's punishment to Moses for disobeying him was that he was not going to get to enter the promised land, which he was bringing the Israelites to out of Egypt, right? The promised land that he was bringing his chosen people to, that Moses had led them through 40 years through the desert. God said, you will not get to go in this place. You're going to die outside. So a real fast side note, and this is a little bit brutal, but when they were crucifying somebody, in order to make sure they were dead, what these people had to do was smash the shins or the knees of the person being crucified, because what they would do is push up on their foot so that they could breathe. When they were just hanging there, a lot of times they were like suffocating. So they would push up to get air. In order to make sure that they would actually die, they would smash their legs and break them so they couldn't do it anymore. I know, it's brutal. However, there were several prophecies spoken about Jesus saying that no bones from the Messiah would be broken. When they went to do this to Jesus, the Roman soldiers already saw that he was dead. So instead of breaking their knees, one of them took his spear and shoved it between the ribs of Jesus, right? And when he pulled it out, it says that blood and water came out. And Jesus, multiple times throughout the Bible, is referred to as the rock, right? He's the rock of our salvation, the cornerstone that the builders rejected, all these different things. And the law is technically what killed Jesus. Even though it was Roman soldiers, the Pharisees were using the law to say that Christ had blasphemed by claiming that he was God, right? Remember, he said, before Abraham was, I am, and I am is the name of God. So he was claiming to be God. They said, that's blasphemy. The law says you must die, right? Just like God said, if you break the law, wages of sin are death. They crucified him. So the law had Jesus killed. So the law, Moses, struck the rock, Jesus, and water and blood came out, right? For our salvation, just like when Moses struck the rock and all the water came out to save the people in the desert. And the Bible says that salvation is a free gift from God, that it's not of works, lest any man should boast. Basically, God is saying there's nothing you can do to earn salvation. I've already done it for you. All you have to do is believe in me, right? Get this. This is really cool. All right, so this is really where it all ties together and gets crazy. So Moses dies outside of the promised land. He never got to go in because he represents our works. He represents the law. He represents essentially what brought us death, right? Our works could never get us into heaven. The one who led the people into the promised land was Joshua, aka Yeshua, which means he rescues, and that's Jesus' name, Yeshua. Jesus is rescuing us, delivering us into the promised land, which is heaven, that if you try to get there with your own works or by anything that you've done to try to please God, you will never get there. You're going to get there and Jesus is going to say, I never knew you. Give your life to Jesus today. He literally loves you so much. He's infatuated with you. Wow!